Return to Glory podcast, season 6 finale for the spring. Hunter Zarbernicki, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. I'm got the crown natty champ gear on. Feel like a player, part of the team here on video. Austin's got his Nebraska shirt on. Dak, who we successfully this year converted into a Husker fan, still not wearing Husker stuff.
Nope. I was this weekend, though.
You did this weekend.
So you guys actually went?
No.
We were just out of now.
Okay.
Did anyone actually go to that?
Going to the game. No, the pictures, it looked like no one went.
So
Husker Games.
The Husker Games, as we're talking on Saturday, as you call it, full day of stuff, right? There obviously were stuff at the stadium. Dak was really just like bent out of shape that like there's nobody there. Like, I will say that's about what I expected. Like, I was not surprised. It's one of those things that like even myself, I as far as what I wanted to see, like I got the clips of what I needed to see on Twitter. Like, it's different, I guess, if you're watching the game. Yeah, you can obviously watch it on TV, but it's not like you're going to watch a game necessarily, and you're going to watch mini games and mini clips. And from what I even heard, it was kind of even hard to see what was going on. Like when they're eating wings, it's like they're sitting at a table. Like, what are you really going to get besides just watching it on the big screen?
Right. The fun part about mini games is participating in mini games.
Yeah.
You know, like I can eat wings. I can throw a football at a basketball hoop. I can't play a full 11-man on an 11-man football game.
It just felt like it wasn't like hyped up at all this year. I mean, they said they weren't gonna do much. I didn't even see. Did they end up doing a scrimmage?
I think so. There was no footage of it.
No, it wasn't like a full-on game by any like a game scrimmage either.
Just
like
freshmen, sophomores
playing. I don't know. I think that opens up a bigger can of worms and a bigger topic of conversation. Obviously, Nebraska is one place, but we're not the only place that didn't have spring games. Now, Dan Lanning in Oregon, they went full pads, full game, like basically live except for the quarterbacks. Like they still did it that way. Some teams just didn't even have anything, right? Nebraska threw something out there and adjusted it as demand needed. I don't know. I don't know what spring football is going to really come to. It's, a 3-week practice session that you get with your team for the upcoming fall. And it usually ended with some sort of spring game, but we are just in a changing world of college football where it's just different. And Rule was on the forefront of saying, we're not playing a spring game. We don't want our players to get tampered with because they're putting themselves out there. He was in the forefront of that, and they weren't the only school that decided to go that route. What's the future of spring football?
I think we go back to the spring game. There's too much money to not have a spring game. I guarantee you they missed the paycheck from the not quite as sold out stadium, $25.
Do they?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
With all this NIL stuff, I don't know that is as important as it used to be. Now, it's still a good chunk of change, don't get me wrong, but I think there's revenue coming in more places now, generating revenue that I don't know that it's as much of a loss as it used to be.
I think exactly like you. I think they go back to it next year normal. I do think, which I've heard this from Colorado and other places too, having other teams come in, I think that's eventually what it's going to be. Now, who the other team is, it could be.
That's where I think it's headed. Like what volleyball team did this year with Kansas and played agreed upon 4 sets, no matter what. Nebraska did sweep Kansas in all 4 under new coach Danny Busboom Kelly. I think it's going that way. I don't know if it'll be next year, but I do think that fans, as far as reviving the spring game, I don't see it going back to what it was. I also don't see it this continue.
It's never going to be the Husker Games again.
No, this was kind of a 1 year like
one and done
thing. So I do think the big hiccup with spring exhibition games, you want to call them, I don't think they're going to want to do a full travel, like let's go play Clemson or South Carolina, or like it's going to be a local Iowa State, Kansas, Colorado, Kansas State, Missouri, a game where you can travel in one day, take a bus. And I also don't think it's going to be a full college football game. It's going to be more like what the NFL teams do when they practice, where you're going to have some different scrimmages and work on different things against each other. I could also see it being closed doors with no filming as well if they do that, which maybe now
Right.
at this point,
That's
the money part's interesting.
It won't be closed doors. No,
It could if the coaches want it that way.
I think they're going to go back to the spring game.
If Rule is so adamant on this, not putting my players out there, obviously we're nowhere close to cooling down this portal thing. Then he's not going to want people. He's not going to want to put his top players out there in any aspect, to any people, to any way of doing it. Again, this is long-term, short-term. I don't know what to look at it yet because everything's changing. But I just don't. I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know where we're going with spring football. I will say, out of any year, what was your interest level in spring football this year compared to prior?
This year, zero interest.
Zero.
Prior years, I definitely followed along. I watched it on TV. I'd go to Lincoln. This year, didn't care.
Again, is that a product because you knew there wasn't a quote-unquote game that you weren't going to be able to
watch,
solidify your thoughts or put them all together to wrap up spring football? I totally think that is, whether you realize it or not. That's completely why I was in the same boat.
No, 100%. Last year, I was excited to see Dylan Raiola. This year, I would have been excited to see some of our freshmen, some of our transfers. This year, like, all right, well, I can't wait to watch Dane Key jump excitedly as Ja'Cory Blarney Jr. runs in a race. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
it felt like the last 5 minutes of the Chasing 3 episode. This kind of felt like the whole purpose of the Husker Games were.
I had no interest, and I don't think. I mean, I saw pictures downtown. There was nobody out for it either. Like, I don't think many people had interest in this game.
Weather wasn't great. Weather wasn't great either.
Yeah.
So no game, and not like the weather wasn't bad, but it wasn't like let's go walk around downtown kind of weather.
Was it even on TV?
No.
Like I said, as far as the game goes, like I honestly don't even know what they played for the quote unquote game. It was just a bunch of mini games. And so like I saw the clips of, you mentioned the Raiola making it through the hoop. You mentioned him I actually haven't mentioned him getting sacked by a Midland women's linebacker in flag football. Not good. I saw the lineman eating the wings. I saw the Heinrich Harburg losing to John Cook on the lassoing mobile cow. Like I saw the clips of all of it. So like I saw what
and you had a better view than anyone in that stadium.
Yeah, I saw Ja'Cory Blarney winning the fastest man competition. Like all those things were out there, and I knew that kind of was going to be the case. So we were going to get the major highlights anyways. Thank God for Dylan for making that shot so we could win the offseason natty title this year. I was worried.
You might be the only Husker fan I know that's just so excited to shit on a quarterback. It's disgusting.
It wasn't a Don Dylan. I'm just saying Husker fans in general. I'm glad he made it.
You, the text messages you sent, I swear.
He's looking pretty chunky. He's looking pretty chunky in those clips.
No, he does not look chunky.
I'm not joking about that. I think he did actually look pretty fat. Like after he made that shot, he was jumping around. I think he looked pretty big.
I'm not shitting on. I want him to produce before he was as expected probably last year at best in what he was going in. So I mean that's what our team has been. I want to see a guy really produce, and I think the lack of footwork, and which has been addressed publicly, and it seems to be the key point of improvement this offseason. So I hope it pays off. I really do. But I'm just saying to support that theory, he got sacked by a Midland linebacker, female, in flag football.
You're right. Flag football is the same thing.
As the Nebraska women get beat by Midland, they're down like 47-0, I think, at one point.
Yeah. You're undervaluing the Midland women flag football team. You don't know their competition level.
So do you bench him since he got sacked by Midland linebacker or what?
No.
Got to consider it.
Yeah. All in all, disappointed we didn't do a spring game. Bring back the spring game. If people want to poach our people, they're going to do it anyways.
I think 100% it comes back just because money.
At some point, they'll probably address the spring portal timing. I think all the portal timing is going to get adjusted.
I think all the portal is probably the first way of trying to stabilize all these moving parts. And I don't know the details of the House settlement hearing that has been going on the past, I think, month or so. I know it's not completely final yet, and the judge isn't willing to sign the dotted line, but I know they are working on something, and I don't know the details of it, so I'm not going to try to comment on it. But they're trying to do something with all of this Wild West chaos that's gone for now, like probably 2 or 3 years now. And it's just continuing to get, I'm not going to say worse, but just continuing to get more and more extreme with everything. So I think that, yeah, you're right. The transfer portal and all of that is going to be the first easy thing to start putting some rules and guidelines down. And how that works. Now, how you enforce that, good luck. Jack, you're wearing a shirt with your name on it.
Yeah, you always got to be ready to work.
That's fine. So I guess sticking on the topic of football here, and what I want to do to kind of wrap up the season 6 of our discussion, I just want us to have open conversation on each position. You know, how you feel about it. Is there any position groups as we go through it that you feel good about, that you think lack depth, that have depth, that are strong suits, are weak points? I believe does a portal open up again before the season? I have no idea. Maybe it does.
Yes, I want to say it does.
I think it opens up here soon.
We're going to go through each one of these here, and I'll kind of kick us off with position by position what we have based off of, which I like looking at this Our Lads depth chart. Like, they keep it updated pretty daily, weekly, and even have one out for next fall as like kind of like a projection. Now, by no means this is going to be what we see against Cincinnati on August 28th, but it's a starting point anyway. So let's just start. Like, we can just do it since we've been talking about Dylan. Dylan Raiola is going to be our starting quarterback. Dylan Raiola is the face of this team. He is there with Jalen Gramstead is most likely our backup. Marcos Davila is there as a redshirt freshman transfer. I believe there's somebody else that is not listed on here. Heinrich Harburg did tight end, so he's not here anymore as a
break glass in case of emergency quarterback.
Yep.
If you got to go to him, you got problems.
Well, I refuse to believe that they had played Jalen Gramstead before Heinrich Harburg, but I guess, you know, that's the way it is.
I'm thinking that's how it's going to look next year if the situation goes to it. So that's where we're at with the quarterback. But I mean, I think as much as I say too, you got to feel decent about our quarterback position. Obviously, the one area that I wanted to see improvement is with the mobility of him, not necessarily running for 10 design QB runs, but being more elusive in the pocket and scrambling when needed. It seems to be working on it. Dylan is, like I said, he's the face of this team, and that family is kind of the face of our program and could be here the next several years. This is a big year for Nebraska, for Dylan at Nebraska. If we don't win more than 6 games next year, I don't see Dylan's future here. I see him being very frustrated if that's the case, in himself or with the program in general. And that whole face of the program, the direction of the program under him could fade. I don't think that's going to happen, but it definitely could. I mean, we've seen much worse. So that's my thought on where we're at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're solid. Dylan Earl is good. He's one of the best quarterbacks we've had in a while. Even if he didn't exceed expectations last year, his expectations were really high. And he did not feel like the problem for most of the season last year. There were a couple moments, obviously, but that's just going to happen when the ball's in your hand every offensive possession. I feel good about it. Hopefully, Dana Holgerson, Dylan Earl, a combo pans out.
Yeah, the main thing is you just don't want him to leave go next year. So, like with those 6 wins you said, I think it depends on how it goes. If he goes out, just balls out, you guys get 6 wins, he's gone. Like he's not staying for them. But if he goes out, he gets 6 wins, and he sucks, then
He'd still probably leave.
yeah,
It's not his fault. It's someone else's fault, probably.
I don't know. I think it'll be interesting now that you have a full year or two under Holgerson. Interesting to see what he tries to run now instead of just kind of coming in off the fly and just making up his own offense after last year.
I completely agree. I think that's going to be a big thing to watch. Is this is the first year that Dana gets a full year with players that he knows that he has and recruited, transfer portal, whatever you want to say, got some guys in that fits what he wants to do. We saw the idea of it with what we had last year to end the year, but I would say by no means that's going to be the final product we see to start game 1 this year. So I think that's the key thing is how is Dana going to utilize Dylan? How's Dylan going to utilize Dana for his offense to look, God, even if we can just say the word better than the last couple of years, because last year it was not a great offense either until Dana kind of gave it a little bit of life there late in the year. So I agree. Right behind those guys are running backs. Emmett Johnson, pretty much the clear number 1 running back that we think going into the fall. Now, we haven't had that in a while. We've gone the last couple of years where it's kind of been an open conversation for who's going to get the carries. This year, it seems to be Emmett, the number 1 guy. Quentin Ives backing him up. Had a good bowl game against Boston College for a touchdown there. Mekhi Nelson and Jamarian Parker, 2 freshmen that are also there. This might just be me, but this to me feels like a question mark.
Did the Notre Dame guy, or not Notre Dame, North Dakota State guy announce? He was supposed to announce today.
He's supposed to announce today. I actually have not.
You keep talking. I'll look it up.
I don't think he is.
So, like that would be a guy that, like, I think would help add depth to this group. Shamar Brown's his name. 3 days ago, he visited on to campus, and he had obviously a very strong year. And North Dakota State rushed for over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. I have not seen any news, though, if he's committed today or not. He would add depth.
The ball says Cal, but no official commitment.
So I think the worry here to me is a little bit of the depth, but also, like, gosh, it'd be nice just to have a guy at running back, like a Burkhead or a Abdullah. And those guys aren't like elite running backs, but they're pretty damn good. I just feel like
Johnson flashed some pretty good stuff at the end of last
year. I just don't know if Emmett can ever is ever going to get to that point. I mean, he's a solid running back. Don't get me wrong. We haven't seen him. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's a 5 or 6 out of 10 out of me. Where it'd be nice to have guys like Halu, Amir. Those guys are 8 out of 10s for what we've had at Nebraska. I mean, solid, really good guys that can do more. We didn't have guys that could break tackles last year. Now Dowdell was the worst example of that, but this is to me is a question mark. Now, also, very few teams have a workhorse back. our offense, I also don't think is built to run a guy 22 times. Maybe it could change this year. Does Emmett Johnson have that in him? I think Ives is going to help contribute in a lot of ways. I think Ives is going to get 6 to 8 carries a game. And then you can see Emmett getting 13 to 15. I think that's probably what we're guessing going in. These younger guys, I just don't know if they're ready or not yet. We don't know. We didn't have a spring game.
I feel good with Emmett. I mean, running back, if quarterback plays good and our offensive line plays good, running back's going to be fine. And I thought Emmett, he played really well out of the backfield last year as a receiving option, which I thought was really important. I obviously wouldn't say I feel as good about the running back room as I did last year, but that's just because I don't know what the freshmen. I have no idea what the freshmen are capable of. Zero. There was no spring game this year. I didn't get to see anyone to get excited about.
Well, here's maintenance from last year, and I'm not saying it's great depth, but you got a lot of depth at running back. Now you don't at all, like, unless the North Dakota State guy will come in, that'll help out a lot, which I think you really need him. Because
I think I think the word depth though is be careful with that word, because I would say last year we were.
I don't know what you'd call it.
We were deep in the sense that we had 4 guys, but they were all about the same skill level, and they were all like average backs. None of them were. We talked about this during the season. None of them were good enough to stand out to become the true cut starter, because none of them played that well. Like, a couple of them had a couple of decent games or decent carries, but to me, that looking back on it was more of a problem than a good thing in a backfield, especially after you see some of these elite, really good teams in the playoffs. A lot of them have a strong back that they can rely upon to get them, through it out. Now, if you're Ohio State, you're lucky and have the luxury of having 2 guys basically getting drafted back to back in the second or third round this year. But we're obviously not anywhere close to that. So I don't know. Were we deep last year? I mean, Emmett is going to be better than he was last year. I agree with that point. But I just don't know with the rest of these guys how they're going to contribute.
Yeah, I really don't know what you would call last year's. I wouldn't really call it depth, I guess. They all kind of sucked, basically.
They were a weakness.
Yeah.
I don't say they sucked, but they didn't change the game. They didn't move the needle that much, but they could get you 3-4 yards a carry.
Yep. We were lacking the explosive, make a guy miss player back there. Receiving core, and we'll do tight end separately here. Dane Key comes in from Kentucky as I would expect probably the number 1 target guy. And Isaiah Hunter's up there too. He's going to be starting as a transfer. Ja'Cory Barney obviously back and had a really, really solid. I mean, as far as expectations going into the year, I mean, exceeded probably the most of anybody as a freshman. And then Cortez Mills as a freshman, Demetrius Bell, sophomore now, Isaiah Mosey, freshman coming in. It's a young group. Janarian Bonner's there too to play some slot that he played last year. It's a young group overall. All freshmen, sophomores. I mean, Bonner's a junior, and then you got Dane Key leading the group. We'll see. Receivers are so hard. I am a true believer, and you see it more in the NFL. The elite receivers and it come few and far between. And I do think Nebraska's strategy right now of just portaling receivers every year is good. I like that strategy. I think that's one position that you can kind of plug and play a little bit, and then you might hit a couple of jackpots here or there. I don't think it's one that you're necessarily looking to develop over time. I don't mind the approach, but it's just one of those things you just don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea until you see him in the fall.
Bell was the guy who got hurt last spring game, correct? Who got?
No, I think it was safety.
It was a safety. Okay.
Blue. Yep.
Yeah, Barney was really good. Really excited about Barney. outside of that, Alex Bullock transferred. RIP to Alex Bullock, who last year got so much praise as being the one. Like, we literally put him into block. Like, he was the one receiver who could block, and now he's out, even though he started several games. Yeah, I'm with you. It's a young group. I have no idea how good they're going to be. Jacory's going to be good. Outside of that, zero clue. New wide receiver coach. That's my research. No spring game. No spring game.
It makes it hard. Like, that's why it's more thoughts. It's like, throw it out there. What do we think? We don't know. So we're just literally throwing out blind shots in the dark because we don't really have a clue other than what we've seen on social media, like from other schools.
Isaiah Muzi, whose dad's on the staff, or is that Cortez Mills?
I don't know.
I feel like one of them, their dad's on the staff. I know Malcolm Simpson's dad's on the staff, I think.
I mean, there's one thing for sure. You got speed on this in this group here. Now, like you said about the transfers coming in, I don't know how much. Did you guys watch much Dane Key or anyone else? Like,
I mean, I watched the highlight video when he has entered the portal.
Yeah, that's about it. And he looks good on that. So that's what I'm rolling with.
It's your highlight video.
I think. I think he's going to be probably one of the better wide receivers you've had in a while.
I hope. We have not hit the portal well.
No.
As far as receiver recently.
Nair wasn't bad last year, I guess.
He's not good. I'm sorry. We have not had, and it's why our offense has not been good. We have not had playmakers, and if we have a playmaker, it's one like that, a Trey Palmer. In recent years that can, beat Iowa over the top, but like, it's not, we don't have multiple guys that we have to work with. We'll see this year. I don't know. I hope you're right. Oh, the other guy, I guess that he's listed as a tight end here is Carter Nelson. He's going to play some receiver as well.
He's out for the year, isn't he?
Good point. So we won't have him. So yeah, I don't know. Just a question mark. And then tight ends, Luke Lindenmeyer, and Heinrich Harburg are going to be our two guys there. And
Heinrich Harburg's the freaking spirit animal of this football team. Like,
he is. I think he is.
The dunk contest, the horse racing, he's always on the field hanging out. The guys, like, that team freaking loves Heinrich Harburg.
It's good. Like, it's I think that's the type of player, I guess, that you want to model some of your culture values by.
Dylan mentioned that they were working on his running after catches, being able to. So that's always a good thing to hear about your second string tight end.
Hey, and I'll say this: he was actually in the fastest man competition.
Yeah, he was. And he didn't get last.
I think he was towards the back, but it was all close, right? Like, he was within a step of losing that thing. So, like, that's also, you're like, okay.
Okay, Heinrich.
Like Nate Borkacher, another one that was in this room last year, transferred to Texas A&M. Like, I again, it depends what you want, how you're going to use your tight ends. That's one position that you can use your tight ends in a variety of different ways to make them good, right? Blocking, passing, moving them outside. They're going to play a lot of different spots. It's just how you want to utilize them in your offense. And I think that's obviously something we're not going to know again until the fall.
Boy, this is a good preview. Everyone listening still, you are in for a treat. We still got defense. Actually, I will say, or Dak, talk about tight ends. I was going to move on.
Well, all I got to say is Harburg's one you can use. You'll probably use, I would think, a different position than tight end, probably. Well, hell, he might be your quarterback.
He'll have some trick plays. He will throw the ball. I would take the over-under, put the line. The over-under line, I'd probably put at
5.
Oh, wow, that's higher than I would have put it. I think I would have put it 3.5, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, he'll throw some passes.
Well, all I gotta say is if your backup tight end comes in as your quarterback, your season's gone to shit. So that's all we've.
He was our starting quarterback 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he came in last year. He came in last year, and I didn't think he was terrible.
No, he wasn't. He didn't throw the ball a lick, but man, he ran like a freaking truck.
Some fans want him to play over Raiola.
Yeah. I don't know. Tight ends will be good. I know we're moving to offensive line. I think it's the deepest group. I really do. Offensively.
Well, how about your old tight end, Thomas Fedoni, getting drafted?
Hey.
Thanks, Dak, for just not letting us move off of the tight ends.
No, yeah, that's a good shout out.
I know how big of a fan of Fedoni Austin was.
Oh yeah, huge fan. Good for him. Don't really like it in New York.
Yeah, Austin, you mentioned the tight end or the offensive line here. I'm with you as long as everybody stays healthy. Here, offensive line, you got to have like 7 to 8 guys. And here's what's weird about this group's offensive lines. Usually we can kind of pinpoint where everybody's going to be on the offensive line, moving left to right.
No idea.
We don't know who our center's going to be next year.
It's probably Justin Evans.
Probably. Sammy Sledge is the other one that you maybe could throw in there, but yeah, everybody's leaning towards it probably being Justin Evans. But you really don't know. Elijah Pritchett, we don't know. He's going to end up playing one of the tackle spots. We're not really sure if it's going to be left or right side. You bring in Rocco Spindler. We expect him to be the right guard from Notre Dame. And then we have guys that have been around the program for quite a while. Gunnar Gatula, he's a sophomore, but Teddy Prohaska's, still here. Like Turner Corcoran, he's still here. Like those guys are around. Are they great offensive linemen? Probably not, but
Turner, it's wild.
They've been around forever. So they have experience, that's great. Henry Latowski, another guy that we expect to see quite a bit of this year. I'm just throwing other names out there. Tyler Knack's still there as a junior. He's been here for 3 years. Brock Knudsen, sophomore. There's some freshmen coming in. So there's a lot of names here to work with. And I think that's to your point, Austin.
Graham Bricks was the big get last year.
Yes, didn't see Greg Segrin.
On Google Meet, giving me the thumbs up on the Graham Bricks. There it is. There's the thumbs up again. I don't know what
giving us the thumbs up for Grant Briggs.
Grant Briggs.
I've always been big on that guy. He is just great. All timer right there. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, Grant Briggs pressing to him. You don't feel like there's like that lockdown guy, but I feel good about all of them, and I feel like you're right. I agree. You need to be 7 to 8 deep, and I feel like we're 7 to 8 deep of they could be starting quality tackles.
And this could go into the same conversation, I guess, of our running backs last year, right? That all are 5 to 6 out of 10s, right? And that easily could be the case. Here's the thing. That's a big step up to where we've had like 3 or 4 or 5 out of 6s, and then like a guy that could not do jack shit as a left tackle. Like we've been in those positions a lot the last few years. We obviously have been very particular in our offensive linemen, very pessimistic, I guess, as far as what
no more Bryce Benhart to blame.
No more Benhart to blame. I think that this group has a lot of potential, but you're what we said. We don't know where they're all going to end up as far as, and I think they all are pretty mobile and can move around. I think the one kind of lock is Rocco Spindler playing that right guard spot. I think that's probably the one we feel best about. But other than that, we'll see. It to me still starts there. I don't give a crap about what we have in the backfield, the receiving group. Like all that conversation does not matter if we don't have an offensive line that can block. And it has definitely, like if we drew a line chart or a line graph over the last 7 years, we're definitely seeing a slight increase over the last couple of years compared to what it was. It's getting better, but is it anywhere close to where it needs to be a consistent top 25 team? Not yet. Could it be this year? We'll see. But that to me is number one most important. That and the defensive line, number one most important positions that you need to be solid at, and that's why you see all these offensive linemen and defensive linemen go in the first round of the NFL draft. Like, that's how important they are. NFL teams know that. You don't know their names as you're watching them on TV. No one gets excited about the 9th overall pick being an offensive tackle, but like, that's why those positions are so important, because they're the trenches of your team.
Well, the old line's been so crappy last couple of years that all you need, I think you just need like a middle of the road offensive lineman. Your fans will be happy.
I think last year was pretty good.
That's what I'm saying.
Run blocking,
not pretty good, but it was a step up from a couple of years before. Like I said, I think we're slowly going. We're going up a little bit. We're not. Last year was not shitty.
Last Coach Raiola energy.
Like 3 years ago, our offensive line was
horrific,
like trash. 2 years ago, I think it was pretty trash. Last year, it was like, okay, like we did not spend a lot of time last year during the season talking about the offensive line. Let's put it that way.
Which is good.
So, Dak, your take on our offensive line was trash last year is wrong. But continue.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like Rocket Spindler's like the main guy here, like everyone's talking about coming out of the portal. Like, he's supposed to be probably your best one. If I had to put money on it, I think he's probably your best offensive lineman. He should be. Now, the main part is, like you said earlier, at least Benhart's gone. So you can pretty easy to upgrade left tackle there.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
He had 6 years of experience.
Wasn't he rated like the worst ever 1 year or something like that?
1 year he was rated like the worst offensive left tackle in college football, or D1, something like that. But he grew. We didn't talk about him last year. I don't, maybe I was unfair. I shouldn't say we don't have Benhart to blame, because last year we did not blame Benhart.
He was better. We didn't talk about it last year in a good way.
It took him 60 starts, but he got there. Golly gee.
Yes.
If you're not talking about your offensive line,
he literally has the most career starts as a Nebraska football player. He can't be that bad. Like,
He doesn't seem like he was here forever.
He was that bad.
All right, defense. 3-3-5.
New coach.
Tony White grabs a bunch of players. They leave. Our defense was definitely has been our strength the past couple of years. We don't seem like we're changing up our scheme here with John Butler as the new DC. There are going to be a lot of new names on this side of the ball. Starting at the defensive line here, we anticipate that nose tackle position, Elijah Judy, to kind of lead the force there, and Riley Van Poppel, getting quite a few minutes as well at nose tackle, and then your Keona Davis, Cameron Lenhart. Those guys are going to be your ends. Williams, Nweri, and Jalen George, some other guys to keep your eye on. I think Williams, Nweri, I think he could be a potential sleeper that no one's really seen play that could have a quick impact at the end position. I think
former 5-star out of Missouri, for those of you.
Correct. Yes.
Don't remember.
Yes. And Jalen George also is a transfer as well. I can't remember where he's from. I feel good. I feel good. I'm going to say great, but one of my strongest feeling good positions to me is this front 4 or 5 that are going to get a lot of the 6 that are going to get a lot of the minutes here. I think there's a lot of experience. I think there's also a lot of physical abilities when it comes to what these guys can bring. And I'll say it, like, Elijah Judy's the only senior. So, like, this year and into next year, like, I feel good about this group, and I think that's important. I think that's a very good anchor to start your defense off with.
I'm assuming you're saying that, but you also have an expectation we're going to have a step back this year, or do you think?
No. So yeah, good point. Because last year, with Ty and Nash, right? Like,
we were really good at stopping the run.
Yes, but I think because they were so good, I think that only makes this group learn more, develop better, and now step into roles that I think. Not saying that their shoes are truly fillable because Ty obviously got drafted in the 3rd round. But I think they're going to do a damn good job of stepping in and doing it. I still feel good about this group, even though we lost a couple of our biggest guys there. I still feel good. I don't want to say I don't think we're going to step back, but I think that was our most strong position last year, and I think it could be again this year.
I think we personally, I agree with most of it. I think there might be a slight step back, but this group feels more athletic. Just
Agreed.
Because, I mean, Ty and Nash were big and strong, but this group feels more, like I said, more athletic, more agile, a little quicker. So that what they lack in size, they might make up with speed.
Which might be better because with 3-3-5, I feel like you need like one good run stopper in the middle, and then your 2 mans need to be pretty quick around the corner. I feel like, so at least they lost a lot on defense from last year, losing with Tony White, which you're gonna expect. But from the portal, what they got, I think they did a very good job of re-upping their D line, the best you can when you lose all that. And Ty is going to be the biggest loss on your team, I think, by far.
Yeah, I mean, and he was your versatile defensive lineman that could play nose, but most of the time that was Nash, and Ty was one of your ends, but power rusher, I guess if you want to describe him as that. I think that he's going to be a big piece to fill, but I think we have the guys that can step in and do that. Guys that have played significant minutes for us. Linebackers position last year that I think we were a little concerned about. I thought maybe
last year I think we all said it was our weakest position, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it ended up being not terrible.
But I thought showed the most improvement throughout the year. I think we were very concerned. Guys you're going to be seeing this year: Javin Wright, Vincent Shavers, Willis McGay. He's now a sophomore, and then Desan McCullough. He's going to be a starter. The OU transfer. Thank you, Sooners. He's going to be, I think, pretty versatile. I'm not sure where exactly he'll end up. This side's got him at the Jack. Andrew Marshall, the transfer from Idaho. I guess that's cornerback. Pause on that. Marquise Trent Watson's coming from Georgia Southern at linebacker as well. Then we have some young guys as well there.
Jacob Bowers, he was mentioned by Rule in some clips about this guy's going to get some serious playing time.
Yep. Yeah, so this list is probably not comprehensive because it was missing Rocco Spindler as well. So there could be some guys we're missing as well. But I don't know. I'm going into this year like feeling okay, like not great, but
really, I feel pretty good about it. I mean, like I said, last year we didn't feel good, but I feel like most, because who are missing Bullock. Outside of that, I mean, who's the big loss? I don't.
Not much.
And you think Desan McCullough can probably fill the Bullock void, and you give another year for everyone to develop. I feel like Willis McGahee showed some real zip last year that we really liked, and Vincent Shavers is good, and Javin Wright. I think he's probably my least favorite of the notable bunch, but I don't know. I actually feel pretry good about this group.
I just want Desan McCullough to play really well, so we can go laugh in Dak's face. But
thanks, Oklahoma.
Well, it's the thing with sucks in the spring game is you have a whole new defense, so we have no idea what they're going to look like, who's starting or anything, especially linebacker. There's so many of them I read that could play. We no clue who number one is or anything.
Yep.
Man, that Kool-Aid juice. Everyone can start. We're the freaking deepest team in the nation.
It's already starting up.
Yep. Where have you been? Like I just told you, we won the offseason natty. We got it done. Secondary, another spot where we see some guys potentially moving around. Your corners, Andrew Marshall, mentioned him from Idaho. Bly Hill, Sierra Wright, we expect to start there on the one side. Jeremiah Charles has had some nice call-outs. Donovan Jones, a freshman coming in as a red shirt. Amari Sanders, another one that you could see out there. some of those guys at corner, and then moving on the inside, Deshaun Singleton, going to be one of, if not the leader back there for this group. Mario Buford, Ramir Stewart, another guy that expect to see some time. Justin Rhett, transfer from Georgia, another guy that was a big get that I think we're going to see some minutes there too. So, and then I forgot to mention Marquise Buford and Malcolm Hartzog, guys that have been around and played for a long time. Almost forgot about them. Again,
are we excited to have Marquise Buford back?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of experience there, and again, you gotta coach him the right way and put him in spots to succeed.
I feel like any experience you have on his defense is good to get back.
That's true. I don't think he's starting as long as we're not starting him. I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with him.
That's where the 3-3-5, as we've talked about, it's very versatile. You can move a lot of pieces around. You talk about that jack position that Deshaun McCullough is going to play. These guys can get flexed down. The rover can get flexed down. You're going to have a lot of things that, it's not a 3-3-5 where you think 3-3-5. It's going to look different based on scouts and the opponents. So, again, is this a position that I feel better probably on than others? Probably.
I feel like out of defense, this is probably my least favorite group.
And I would have this be second above linebacker still. But what's funny is I still have all these. I think the running backs and receivers are my two lowest, just question marks and unknowns as far as everybody. But again, we don't know. What do we know? We're making opinions off of
nothing.
Nothing.
Matt Rule, bring back the spring game. You messed up.
Kickers. What do we think? I mean, we lose Bushini Bomb.
We lose Bushini Bomb, and then we're transferring out left and right. We've already had two kickers transfer out. We're switching to the rugby style.
Yeah, leaning towards the Australian rugby.
Which, hey, isn't that Alex Henry? Isn't that how he punted? Or not Alex Henry?
Yeah, well, who was that guy?
I don't know. Our punters we've had some really good ones.
Yeah, we have. He was really good.
Rugby punting has kind of faded away, hasn't it? It's not gone, but it's kind of faded. I'm curious how that's going to work. Tristan Alvano and John Hull, those two are both here, right? We know Nico Automanelli's in the portal. We just saw that recently. We got Kevin Galick was our first transfer portal get this year, the long snapper.
Big get. Wow. We were real excited about it.
We were just so that the whole operations last year was just chaotic, to say the least. So I don't know. I think this group is.
The most interesting thing in this group is who's going to kick. Is it going to be John or Tristan? Because Tristan was hurt all of last year, and before that he had the yips. John started out poorly and then somehow turned it around.
Here's my faith and trust, Mike Eckler. Yes, please. If I'm drinking any more Kool-Aid or any Kool-Aid at any part of this team, and I try to stay away from the Kool-Aid, I am drinking the Mike Eckler Kool-Aid. And I believe that he will get this thing figured out. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just have a gut. It's got to get better. I'm not even got to be a top 10 special teams unit, but it's got to get better. Can't get worse. And I feel like we have the right type of guy to do it. He's got energy. He's got the experience. He's kind of, I don't know, put a specialty in special teams, right? He's had opportunities to move around to different positions, I think. And he just said at one point in his career, nope, I'm going to get really, really, really freaking good at everything special teams related. And he's done that and proven that his past couple of stops. He's been to, 12 schools in the last 14 or 15 years.
Yeah.
I trust him. That's the Kool-Aid. And I think regardless of the players, if we don't have him, he's going to say, okay, here's what we need to get. So I have faith. I have faith there more so than the players themselves. And yeah, we got a new long snapper. Yay. But I think a lot of that's mental. we've talked about that. Like it's repetition. It's doing it over and over and feeling so that it's second nature when it comes to snapping the ball. That was not the case. When it comes to holding the ball, that also is not the case. When it comes to making a 28-yard field goal, all of those things, like I feel like we can get on the right track with Eckler as a coach.
I agree. Best get for the special teams was Eckler.
The coach, yes.
A good coach, which, like, I mean, it could
I
get
know.
worse than what it was last year. Last
We've
year
seen
wasn't.
nothing. And again, I don't like to drink the Kool-Aid. I don't like to believe in something I haven't seen, hasn't proven. He's done nothing to prove me, but he's the one piece I have faith in potentially because it can't get worse. Let's be real. That's probably why I think that way.
We were talking why during the spring, whatever you call it, games or whatever, why were they not just having these guys just kick the whole time? Do your other crap off the side and just have these guys kick in the background the whole time.
A kicking contest would have been appreciated as a Husker fan.
Yeah, but there might be a reason why they didn't do that.
One other thing that I just came to mind. As I talk about kickers in our one anomaly game, Ohio State, where John Hull hits like 3 bomb kicks. Guys, the more I think about that, and every time I get reminded, I jokingly said it, I think right after the game. That was like 2 weeks after we got Brett Maher back to like consult. I think Brett Maher was in the pads. that's my biggest, darkest like conspiracy theory of the last season is that like you know how easy, especially a kicker, like they're all they're all like that. It would be so easy to throw on a random jersey. Like that one game just doesn't make sense at all when you like on the road, top 5 team, and he like 350 yarders and drills them. Like something doesn't add up.
It was just a day, just a moment.
Oh, all right. Well, that's our preview. That's our spring football wrap up. That's our
big takeaway. Bring back the game.
Yeah, no spring game really put a killer on this one.
Yeah. Congratulations to Lexi Rodriguez for winning that one big award. I'm trying to think what other Husker news. Baseball team's very mid. I watched us beat Creighton though, so that was cool. I went to the game with my wife and all of her coworkers, and I sat with a bunch of Creighton people. Like, I mean, it was a Creighton section. It was me in the one red shirt right in the middle. It was great.
Yeah, very. I think we're fighting
500.
5 other teams to get into the Big Ten tournament. Which who knows? Maybe is there a Crown baseball version that we can get in and go win?
Yeah, what gear can we win?
One other football news that I saw today, Andy Staples, and now that I think back on it, I think maybe last year we cracked the top 25 as well, put out his post-spring top 25 rankings. Nebraska, 23rd. I'm pretty sure we were 25 last year. Now that I think about that, I think I remember having the same conversation, and we're like, yep, there it is. We're ranked.
You probably put down to the date. Every year we had the same conversation.
Yeah. Oh, Iowa was 25 this year. We were ahead of Iowa.
There you go.
Hang that banner, baby.
Yeah, at least going into next year, you don't got to be an Iowa fan watching them.
They're gonna be good next year. I don't know why. I don't know why people. Yeah, Iowa's never not gonna be decent. Also, while we're shitting on other teams, Shadur, what a moment! Really enjoyed it.
Round of applause.
Retired his jersey, went in the 5th round the next day. Great moment. I am a Shadur hater.
Oh yeah, the Browns quarterback room. Hell yeah, get me live footage in that thing. Who is it? It's Flacco.
My boy,
Dylan
Dylan
Gabriel. Shadur. Like, come on, yes, please.
Who would have thought Dylan Gabriel? If you would have had odds going in the last season, like being last year, that Dylan Gabriel would be drafted above Shadur, I don't know what you could have got that is, but that's
the odds a week ago. Like,
true. I didn't even know if Dylan Gabriel was going to get drafted, but it must be just that good.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to see. You know what? And I think that's a very telltale sign of the difference between college athletics and pro sports. Even though college athletics is moving in that direction in several ways, that style, that attitude that in college gets you a bunch of 18-year-olds to get so excited and love you and aren't annoyed by you because they're in awe by it. The pros, like that glamour, very different take on it. And I think that was Dion, and Dion was a special type of person in the pros because his play started before his primetime name, right? I think that was an eye opener to them as like, what is happening? Nope, this is the pros. This is the big leagues. Like, you don't act like that. You have a special. You need to prove yourself before being the guy. That's not the case in college. It's still, and that's not going to change here for a long time. Still, I don't think that difference between college and pro sports.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they retired his number. The man only, they won 8 games last year? 9, maybe?
Yep.
One of the best
that.
tweets of the weekend was, what if he's got to go back and he's got to wear a new number?
Wear a new number.
Yeah. One of the best ones.
Great. I love it. Good job, Colorado. Keep up the good work.
And that's how we end season 6. Just shitting on
Colorado.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll be back in a few months. Preview the fall season. First game, Cincinnati, Thursday
we'll probably
night.
all be 15 pounds lighter, tanner, maybe a little taller. Who knows? A few months will do it.
We all can hope.
Dak's got to put muscle on. You got to put on the weight.
Yep. Cutting season's over.
Cutting season's over.
All right. Signing off, season 6. Go Big Red.
GBR.
Go Big Red.